gold lane and the mid laner.
Yeah.
They can.
Yep.
Yeah, does look good for them that way.
What?
And there was something that you mentioned to us, Leo, where it seems like the meta now does favor dive.
Yep. Again, just looking at what heroes are big,
Yeah.
the trinities from role to role, they all seem to play from either close range or mid range. And wait,
Okay.
no, is this
From last night.
Okay.
Is this
Okay.
the fabled gold lane Roger?
Yep.
Yes, it is.
We saw this last night. MPL
Yes, it is.
Indonesia. RRQ versus EVOS in the Classic Derby, game
That's
number
right.
3.
Skyla.
And they won it.
Killer.
Skilla.
Skilla.
Oh, wow. But now it's no mid.
The mid.
No mid.
All right.
Okay.
Folks, again, I know you're part of this. 81% to Echo, who is still, by the way, undefeated. They've lost games, yes, but not a single series. Can TNC snap that?
Well, it's gonna be a difficult task always. I think for TNC, every single series that they play now is always a tall order, just because of the fact that teams have already established their chemistry. I mean, look at this team.
Yeah.
Even when you know that there are 2 new players, young players from MDL, we know their caliber. They have played in the MPL before they played in MDL. That's how strong this team is.
They've been round the block, and here they still stand. Welcome to Game 1, the first in this best of 3. 2 teams racing to get 3 points after tonight's bout. It's TNC and Echo. Early rotations, both start purple.
No. Assassin Emblem, I think, should be the way here for the Roger. And we've seen like a Vengeance Roger, but okay, so that's the thing. That's why you go for the Roger versus the carry, because when it comes to range, there are so many ways for you to kind of win the lane with that, especially because you have the extra movement speed wherein you can cut the minion waves, as you saw with Nomad, able to poke outplayed.
Yeah. I just want to say quickly, carries have been having bad days. Last night it was a Freya, now it's this one.
Yeah.
No one's safe.
Meanwhile, Yoshi is getting poked down here by Zyda unless Zyda wants to commit it. Nope. Still just playing around that Little Wander. Everything's chill.
What? I wonder. So Super Yoshi went for that tank Minotaur, but even, despite that fact, I mean, still is taking so much damage from this Nolan. Really, teams have started to give the Nolan, they kind of give away the Nolan. That's what I'm trying to say. And I think Nolan is just such a strong hero. And I'm not sure whether or not TNC is actually prepared for this Nolan. I think the only good hero here is definitely this Minotaur, but that will come into the late game where you can save your teammates and also kind of punish the Nolan. But it's not an easy thing to do.
Truth be told, Kaisama, I thought you were going to say Nolan has evolved in his playstyle, because he used to play very differently when Fracture had that CC.
Yeah.
But now, again, maybe because teams are so willing to let him go, let him through, we might be going the route of Lancelot Season 8, Season 9, where he had to change his playstyle to change the way he affected the metagame. First turtle spawned up already. Echo with a small lead, 300 gold.
I like how there's a little duel here in the EXP lane while the Nolan's getting spotted by Super Yoshi's Minotaur. There's going to be no contest by Echo, but Sanford not going to be going after Ryzen. So TNC Pro team, again, they're continuing their trend of just wanting to control the early to mid game.
Yep. 76% turtle control rate for TNC, despite them losing their first 4 matches. We know for sure that they have something prepared against teams, and that's the early game.
Man, I've never seen a Martis hit a turtle so fast, alone, and actually score it like that. Even I wouldn't dare do that in my own ranked games.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Dean.
But that was, Mr. Dean. That's right. Yep. That means that it was Super Yoshi that actually allowed for it. And Reptar pointed it out. Super Yoshi spotted out where Zyda would play.
Yeah, Super Yoshi going to be going in, and that's going to be a massive pull coming in by Hatred as the Ruby, as the Valentina, but that's going to be Decimation by Ryzen. Early blood, first one, but that's going to be a counter. Super Yoshi with a massive knock-up, but it's not going to be able to help Ryzen get away. Echo traded out.
Oh, it's the rifts. It's the delayed damage from Nolan's passive that took down Martis.
Whew. That's going to be explosive. Definitely good for Echo because they punished Ryzen. And not only that, that's a kill for the Nolan. And you always want early kills if you're an assassin jungler.
Yeah, and you mentioned something about changing the playstyle similar to the old Lancelot, Leo. I feel like there's a time where the more players seem to forget about like what heroes do, the more they get a little bit careless, a little bit too Overzealous going up against them. They're like, oh, he can poke me. Later I'm going to get him back. He has no CC. I feel like that's where we are now in this era of Nolan. Like, people just tend to forget just a little bit.
Yeah. Which circles back to what Kaisam said. Like, he can't believe TNC just let it through.
Yeah.
What's going on? Turtle spawning here in just 10. Relative piece up top. Again, earlier it was Nomad who was just super aggressive and outplayed. Why the change in tempo up top?
Well, definitely some of the occasional visits to the top lane kind of made it difficult for
Second turtle, there's going to be an entry in. Super Yoshi gets knocked up. Eternal Guard already out. EG committed. Echo trying to find an opening. TNC as well. Ryzen dancing around Sanford. Hatred and Heads, though, on the back of Echo. They're going to try to chase after Zyda, who gets away, but Hatred's going to get punished. Super Yoshi jumps in. A massive heal as well from the Motivation Rod, but he gets picked off by the Nolan. Minotaur goes down. Ryzen and Hatred try to take down JP. Just see if they can get a trade after it. Yes, they do. Decimation. Make it 2. Double for Ryzen. Will it be 3? Bang! For the jungler of TNC.
Mean Dean strikes again. He does get traded out earlier on, but he comes back with a vengeance.
Oh my god, the mean Dean, that's a Ryzen. But actually I would like to credit Heads because of the way that he managed, or he defended against Zyda. Didn't let go of the grip of the Zyda. Zyda eventually gets a kill of Super Yoshi, but he cannot position himself on to the turtle. And that delay on the turtle for TNC gave them 3 kills, a bonus turtle to go with that, and a lot of gold back in their favor.
Oh, man, top lane.
Nomad and outplayed.
It's a duel.
Get it out. Oh, will Nomad actually fall to outplayed here? No, he won't. Still a little bit of a fighter, so he'll be able to get away. I like the tracking of these two teams. They're targeting when it comes to the big team fights.
That's right. And that's Thunderbolt Roger. That's why he felt a little bit tanky.
Oh, they're going for the heads. Vengeance committed. Is it actually going to be enough to survive? What? Yes, it is. The damage of the CC stopping Zyda from chasing him down.
He got max stacks. Them yo-yos were helping with the lifesteal and the spell vamp. What would win? Literally time-traveling blades or yo-yos?
I like this
yo-yos
question.
Apparently. Roger, there's is it Full Moon now?
Oh, stolen. Grand Theft Orange by Ryzen. And JP not going to be able to get the pull. And TNC back off. Again, signature TNC playstyle. They are giving a lot of difficulty to Echo.
Yeah. But then again, when it comes to the economy, Echo still is ahead for a little bit. Great news for the Nolan, obviously. Especially because Zyda hasn't died yet. So that's really a good tell of good early game.
EG committed. A lot of damage onto the Ryzen. Zyda is going to be able to get a fracture. Oh, very close. The damage coming out from the Vixana as well. TNC Pro Team, 26 seconds before this turtle spawns. They're now going to be going up top. Nomad, does he know? He feels it. He senses it. Super Yoshi nearby, though. They're going to commit to play. They pull Yoshi. Is Yoshi going to be able to get away? Minnow and Fury committed. A little bit of a knock-up, but they're just trying to delay the inevitable. Maybe Outplayed not going to be able to get the turret just yet, but Nomad goes in. Nomad goes in, and he gets punished. No, he does not. He survives, but the turret falls.
Literally the same thoughts. Again, he was trying to save the turret, but why would he put himself in such harm?
I think he wanted to go for the pounce coming out for the Lycan pounce onto a minion, the cart. He wants to kind of jump to the carry first and then jump to the minion, but it didn't happen.
That makes sense. Super Yoshi taking a lot of damage, already forced to use the flicker. Heads now has to substitute as a roamer who's going to be able to get this turtle here. The last one that's going to be going to Ryzen. Mean Dean, Dean Machine. Everything in between. Ryzen, though, falls. He gets punished there. Shut down. Killing spree by Echo. They've lost the objectives. But I think this means the mid lane might be open unless TNC is going to be able to stop it. Let's see. Can they get the mid lane turret? It's going to be a big prize for Echo if they do. They're going to be getting resources in the jungle. They don't get the turret. Who wins that out?
I think that's definitely Echo. They got a kill onto Ryzen, and then they got the purple buff as well. And Zyda is 3-0-0 right now. About 1.2k ahead of his matchup. And that will just compound into the Lord fights. I mean, obviously TNC got the first 3 turtles, but that doesn't mean that they will have a great time in the mid game, especially because they're losing towers as well.
All right, let me help count their blessings for the Phoenix, right? At least they have a small gold lead, and they're still waiting for Hatred to actually come online. We haven't really seen J-Lord do much.
But he's just been biding his time as well. Because I think we've seen, like, especially yesterday, Hatred sort of just like a secondary setter as well for TNC, especially as a Valentina. They spot out Yoshi. Echo, are they going to be able to take him down? Minnow and Fury committed. 2 gets knocked up. TNC still not completely in position to commit. Curtain call was tossed out there by Heads, but no, they're not going to engage.
And that is actually that's the Minoan Fury committed. I think the Vexana ultimate has faster cooldown compared to that one. It's gonna be TNC just scratching their heads over that play. But then again, they did not lose their mid lane turret, and that's always a good news for TNC.
Yeah, and I think I'm understanding also why Sanji hurts. They have to prioritize the physical defense first. 3 Dreadnought armors,
right.
but magic defense not quite there yet for TNC.
That's right. It's understandable because they're playing against a Nolan.
Yeah.
And right now, you can see that they're keeping up the pressure again. Wherever TNC is not, there be a member of Echo just shrinking the map. So it's going to be so much more difficult for Nomad to actually make the most of the kit that we once thought would make it easier for him to lane. This is a Roger that can't go hunting. He's forced to be babysat by the 3 chunky players from TNC.
Ooh.
Okay.
Missed out.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
He's able to use that with his innate crowd control, vulnerability, immunity for just a bit.
It's kind of weird, but that's a flicker. That's no longer available for JP for quite a while. But look at the minion management coming up from Echo.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
It's really good right now.
Oh, Zyda just picked up the Blade of Despair. The Sad Sword, extra tears
Sad sword.
for TNC. Lord Dance here with... Oh, there's a
Big
pull!
entry. Hadrian finds his moment. He finds a bullet to the Vexana. There's a lot of magic damage going on the side of Echo right now, but a pull as well from JP. He doesn't need the flicker, but the counter punch by TNC. They take down the Ruby. They take down 3. Double kill once again for Ryzen, making the most out of the Decimate.
6-2-0 on Mean Dean Sumagi. Just 1,000 gold now ahead. TNC making a beeline for the Lord.
Okay, heads goes forward. Nomad as well. Curtain call onto 2 members of Echo. While TNC Pro Team, they're going to be able to get this without a problem.
And look at J-Lord just staking down the mid lane turret to go with it after outputting so much damage in the previous team fight. With the way that he positioned his Valentina, he transitioned into taking the turret while they were taking the Lord. And by the way, Nomad actually played that so well. Didn't even have to pop the Purify. His positioning was so good, and he was able to make full advantage of the Lycan Pounce using the animation cancel as well.
All right, Kaisam, Renmark, and I just appreciate these 2 heroes from TNC, the Roger and the Martis. Wait, we'll talk about it if he survives. He does. All right,
He does.
cool.
He's cool.
They're both building hybrid fighter.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that because usually when you see most Martises in the current metagame, they're all just full tank.
Yep.
But Dean said, you know what, I'm ahead.
Okay.
Usually, if I don't lean hard into this, we're going to lose, and I'm not going to be a threat. He builds the Hunter Strike. Who does that?
Yeah.
Only the Mean Dean does that.
Only the Mean Dean. He's a bit of a machine so far. 6-2-0 for Ryzen Smartis. Let's see if anyone's going to commit anything into this. Nope, TNC are just doing management while Echo's doing their own management in the bottom lane, outplayed with a split push.
Dear God, the former team captain of MDL's championship squad just taken off the map. You know what? Y'all don't know where I am. I'm just going to slowly shrink it. And again, I think TNC can afford that now, but they have to make most
JP with a massive 3-man pull as the Ruby. I'm at a loss for words as TNC Pro Team. I'm at a loss for life.
Oh.
They've only somehow lost 1. Let's see if they'll be able to get away from this. The members of Echo are still going to be chasing TNC. The Echo Express unstoppable.
Yoshi!
But they can't reach Yoshi. He jumps. He flickers. He doesn't get away. The chase gets completed.
The 3-man pull.
The 3-man pull.
The 3-man pull just opened up the map, and TNC wasn't expecting that.
Absolutely. It's a little bit of loss when it comes to the damage output of Echo when JP is not able to land that ultimate, but now this time he lands it onto 3.
The big one.
The big one. I mean, he missed some of those shots, but man, when he hits JP, come on, dude.
Oh.
You can see it, but I guess the only sacrifice there for Echo was a little bit of damage, well, not a little bit, but 75% damage to the turret up top, but the fact of the matter is it's still standing, so they're still pretty good.
All right, it looks like old habits die hard. We talked about it in the pregame, and TNC still struggles to make the most of their Lord.
Yes. Yeah.
They seem to have some trouble making the most of this major objective. Yes, they did get away with, I'd like to correct you, Wolf, maybe 80% of the tournament.
Okay, you're right.
But they lost in the end. They lost, what, 2 pickoffs,
That's
and
right.
then negative 400 gold.
That's right.
And it was kind of sad because if you look back at the past of TNC Pro Team, let's bring it back to just even last season. I feel like we've been saying the same thing since season 12. They know how to control the early game, mid-game, and the games where they're leading it. And then somehow around maybe the first, second Lord, something slips, their formation gets red, or maybe they just look like they're scrambling a bit in terms of the map control. I mean, what's going on?
Oh, the burst.
No, that's a rush.
Yep.
Yep, right under the noses of TNC.
Yeah.
Echo gets it.
And this is not the first time that this happened to TNC actually. If you remember when they went up against Blacklist International, that's always their problem. Their map control needs a lot of fixing.
So I would say it's not a Blacklist thing when they face off. I mean, Blacklist is given very strong when it comes to the Lord take, but TNC definitely has to work on that right now. They're down 4,000 gold. They have a respectable kit on a majority of their heroes. Their cores are functional, dare I say. Something to note, Wolf, check this out, the dire hit on the Nomad's Roger.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to remind everyone that you usually will not get into that zone where you have the blessing anyway, so it's just a free 20% upgrade on your gold with assists. That's just it.
Oh,
basically.
JP going in. Big ultimate as well. Eternal Guard, and it's going to be a punish to Yoshi. Yoshi goes down, rising broad low. He's forced to go back. Echo now with a man advantage. Let's see if they're going to continue this. It looks good for them. They don't have the Lord. Will they risk it? They were able to spend some utilities on the side of TNC Pro Team. Echo still looming. Are they overstaying or are they waiting? What are they looking for? Are they going to find the entry? They got to pull their other heads. Heads gets bursted down by the Dyrod, by the Nolan. Ryzen could be up next, or maybe it's the base, or maybe it is. Echo's time to end the game. TNC Pro Team falls to the Express in game number 1.
The Orcas find the turning point, make the drift, switch it up into high gear,